Well, it's back to school for students today, but while there were enjoying summer break, a new task force was hard at work to make sure New Mexico children, specifically Latino and Hispano children, succeed. Now, joining us this morning is Dr. Jose Armas with the Latino Education Improvement Task Force. I want to thank you so much for getting up early and joining us. Now, this is a relatively new group. What sparked it?
Well, we started earlier this year when a bill was submitted to the legislature to create an independent police department at APS. And what that brought up is the fact that there's misplaced priorities if the schools, the Albuquerque public schools, are failing to educate 63% of Latinos in 4 years, and they're trying to create an independent police department. We think that those were misplaced priorities, and so as a result of that, a number of people started getting together, and we began to address this. And the more we talked about it, the more we felt that this is such a serious issue that it warrants activities by the community.
So what kinds of things are you going to be doing?
Well, we're trying to create some partnerships with the schools, with the State Department of Education, with the unions, with higher education, with elected officials, with the community, of course. We feel that this is a problem that affects the entire community, and the conditions of Latino education is like the 2,000-pound gorilla in the room that nobody has acknowledged yet. And so Latino education specifically, I think, needs attention.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Is it the education system, or is it an attitude within the Latino community?
I think the schools have to assume the bulk of the responsibility. Of course, the community has a role to play in it, and that's the role that we're playing right now, of trying to give ideas and suggestions. But in fact, you know, if you went to a doctor that failed 63% of their patients, if 63% of that doctor's patients died or didn't get well or got worse, I don't think people would be worrying about whether the patient was at fault. I think they would look for another doctor. And I think that that's the situation that we're in New Mexico.
So what are some of the first things we're going to see, very quickly?
Well, we need to raise the awareness of the issue. We need to create a sense of urgency around the issue of Latino education, because unless we do, we're going to have a general approach which is not going to get at the problem, which is the majority of the students in New Mexico are Latinos, twice as many Latinos as white students. So that has to be a major priority.
And so how do people get involved in this effort?
Anybody who's interested can certainly participate. We have open invitation to anybody who's interested in this crisis.
And is there a website, a phone number?
They can call 730-1899, and we meet every Thursday at 5:30 at the YDI Warehouse.
Great, great. Thank you so much, Doctor, for coming in this morning. We appreciate your time.